Mercifully, we have come a long way since the dark days of 2021. Back then, we thought the next presidential election would be a rematch between President Biden and the former occupant of the White House, former President Trump. Things are now way more interesting. Senator Tim Scott announced plans to head to Iowa. You go to Iowa because of a potential 2024 bid. Former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley is expected to announce her presidential bid this month. New York prosecutors presented their case against Donald Trump before a grand jury, and there's the drip, drip, drip for President Biden. The FBI searches his Delaware home for classified documents today. They didn't find any. You could call it a consensual raid, perhaps. With that, we bring in Dr. Lauren Wright, Associate Research Scholar, Princeton University. It's good to see you, ma'am. Thank you. All right. Is the odds-on favorites, if you look at the polling, still Trump versus Biden?
That seems to be it, but it's just way too early to tell. It could be DeSantis versus Biden, but if Democrats know what's good for them, Biden will be their nominee. He already beat the rest of these candidates. They all have issues. There'll be a huge fight over who the heir apparent is. It'll be a scandal if he doesn't endorse Harris. They should stick with him. On the Republican side, I think we really don't know what's going to happen.
It's interesting. When you look at Democratic polling average primary, Biden still is at 35%, which is sort of shockingly low for a sitting president. It's about what his approval rating is nationwide. Bernie Sanders next, Kamala, Mayor Pete, Elizabeth Warren, Gavin Newsom. But then you go to the polling average for Trump. Trump's 44, DeSantis 32, Nikki Haley all the way down at 2.8%. What is fascinating, though, forget Ron DeSantis for a minute as Ron DeSantis. If you just look at him as sort of the other guy,
right,
almost what Joe Biden was in 2020, just anybody other than Trump. In New Hampshire, he loses. In Pennsylvania, Trump loses. In Iowa, Trump loses. And in Nevada, Trump loses big among Republican primary voters. You have to, if you're a Republican sitting there looking at this, it shows he's vulnerable.
Yes, it does. It shows that there's more than enough of an appetite for a Trump alternative, but there's probably only room for one Trump alternative. And what's really extraordinary about what Ron DeSantis has been able to do is, with no formal campaign, with no announcement, with no platform nationally, really, he's managed to carve out enough name recognition and familiarity with the base and a positive association with himself to beat Trump in a lot of these head-to-head polls. But when the heat of the presidential spotlight hits, he really has not been tested on those tough questions about national policies that are really controversial. And we don't know what he would do with Trump on a debate stage.
Yeah, but wouldn't it be fun to find out?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I'll be watching for sure.
Yeah, you get some popcorn, figure out what the drinking game is, it'd be a good time. I think about what's happening on the Democratic side, though. If you are, maybe not Pete, but maybe you're Elizabeth Warren, maybe you're Amy Klobuchar, and true, they lost to President Biden the first time around. Or maybe you're Gavin Newsom, who did not lose to President Biden the first time around. Maybe you're Roy Cooper in North Carolina. You're watching this drip, drip, drip of the special counsel. It's never the crime, it's the cover-up that hurts you. How is President Biden not the weakest Democrat, sitting Democratic president, I don't know, certainly since Carter, maybe even including Carter?
Because he has the title of president and he can campaign from behind the presidential seal. And that's a tremendous advantage. It's difficult for incumbent presidents to lose. They really have to try hard to do so. And so for Democrats, if you're looking at a traditional Democratic perspective of a successful president, you look at how much legislation he's gotten passed, and he can campaign on that, and he can say he did all of these things. And so if he runs, if he decides with his family and makes that final announcement, I do believe Democrats need to coalesce behind him. Otherwise, they are super vulnerable to Republicans taking back the White House.
Yeah, sure. No, look, you make a great point. We saw it with Carter when he was challenged in a primary. He ended up losing the White House, won the primary, lost the White House. The same with George H.W. Bush. It's crippling when you're challenged from your own side. Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.